That's a quick look around Byram Arcade. Let's go and see Paul at Kapow Comics now. Go and have a chat with him. Come on. Paul, thank you for making time to allow us to call in today to see you. See what Kapow Comics is all about. It's a busy little shop, this, isn't it? It's not a little shop, it's a shop, this, isn't it?
It's not bad. Moved to the arcade fairly recently, and it has been really good for us. We do get more people coming in here. I mean, it still has quiet moments, but yeah, it's definitely doing better since we moved here.
It's really smart, nice and light, very colourful.
Yes, we tried.
Very colourful.
Yeah, when we moved in, it was all plain walls and mirrors. It used to be hairdressers, I think, before we came in here. So we had a lot of fun putting up posters and stuff like that, make it look a little bit more like a comic shop.
You succeeded.
Yep.
You succeeded. So we know you're a big Giants fan.
Indeed.
What is you getting supporting them, and how? You know, how's your journey to be a rugby league supporter and Huddersfield Giants fan come about?
Well, my interest in rugby started when I was a kid at school. I went to Newsham High, and my PE teacher was not a fan of rugby. And I got to play rugby league a little bit at school, even though I was a small lad. But it kind of gave you permission if you're playing rugby to like go barreling into the big lads and just have fun with it. Nobody really got seriously hurt. But then I grew up and like didn't have a chance to play it. And then when I was a uni as a mature student, they did an offer for cheap Giants tickets. I definitely. And I managed to go to the match where the Giants beat Bradford for the first time in decades. And the two people I was friends with who took me down there were like, "You've got to come back next week." I'm not that superstitious. I was just happy to go down. So I ended up really having a good time. And the next season, I bought my first season ticket, and I've had one ever since.
So no lucky underpants, certain socks.
I don't know. I like watching the teams just turn up and play their absolute best. Even if the Giants don't win, if they showed up on the day and proved that they had it in them to win, didn't quite make it, I still have a great time. I'm not like 100% tied into if we lose, it's a bad day. I just want to have fun and watch my team do well.
Paul, you've chosen to support HJSA this year, which we're really grateful for. What were your reason behind choosing us, to sponsor and support?
Well, I mean, obviously being a fan of the Giants for a very, very long time, and I've been wanting to find a way of doing something like this for a while. Just stuff never quite worked out. But if I'm completely honest, the big reason is, I think when you support a team for a long time, or even a sport for a long time, you find yourself talking about the team in terms of like, we did something. Like somebody asked me how the Giants do. I didn't say, oh yeah, the Giants were, oh yeah, we totally kicked their ass. And if you don't support teams, it's kind of odd. Oh yeah, you didn't do it. You weren't the one on the pitch. Yeah. But when you support things like the grassroots movements and you buy the Golden Gamble tickets for every match and you buy the merch and the season tickets, you do feel like you're far more part of the club and the community. So it doesn't feel quite so weird saying, oh yeah, we did it really well on the day. And it feels nice to be part of something a little bit bigger and know that some of the money we're putting in is going towards making sure not just the team, but the sport I love is going to be able to carry on going and getting you interested, especially with the whole like IMG thing, and then really trying to push engagement a lot more. If we can do anything to, make some money to try and help that along the way, we're absolutely going to do that. Yeah, brilliant.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying though about you feel far more involved. You go from being just a fan, to being an actively involved member.
Yeah, first time I got a strip, it was because my mum bought me one because she's been a fan for a while. She used to run the Turnbridge Working Men's Club, which had all the matches and stuff like that. And like Danny Bruff goes in there and drinks every once in a while. And when she realised I got my Source of Season ticket, she bought me that strip for Christmas that year because she was like, no, you should be into it. I've always been a massive geek and never really into sports. I think my mum was like, oh, good, he's into sports now.
Tell us a little about how Kapow Comics started, how you got involved in it, and a bit of your history.
Well, I've been into comics since I was a kid. I've been an avid reader since I could read, to the point that school libraries got annoyed with how quick I was going through books. And every time I found something I wanted to read, my dad especially really encouraged it. Starting with Beano and Dandy. I was a member of the Bass Street Kids fan club and the Dennis and Menace fan club and all that kind of thing. Badging. Yeah, absolutely. Little wallet and everything. And then when I was 11 years old, the very first Tim Burton Batman movie came out. And I remember this very well because it's the first movie in this country to ever get rated 12. So I had to lie about my age to go and see it at the old 2-screen cinema down on Zetland Street, which hasn't existed for decades. But I went to see it. Absolutely blew my mind. I was like, oh, this is what I want. And my dad was then like, right, if that's something else he's into, he took me to W.H. Smith's and bought me a whole bunch of Batman comic books. And I've been a fan ever since. And then after I graduated university as a mature student, I was struggling to find a job in my field. Technically, I've got a degree in history and heritage, which is obviously I'm doing really well with here. But I couldn't find work that I really wanted to do. I was doing just part-time jobs wherever I could. And an old friend of mine from my high school, we were friends when we were teenagers, he was looking to invest in something and he had money, and we started talking, and he was like, well, if you can put me a business plan together, we'll open a comic book store. Because he wanted one. We were both having to travel to comic book stores. There was none in Huddersfield. So after about a year after the original meeting and getting it all together, we opened up our very first store in the Queensgate Indoor Market. And that was almost 10 years ago now. And now we're here in our own little place, fully set up, ready to keep going. And I hope this is the last job I ever have. I want to do this until I retire, because I absolutely love it.
So you are testament that the comic book scene in the UK is big.
Yep.
But just how big is it over here?
Well, because most of the comic books that people buy are produced in America, the stores that open basically need to be importing stuff in. There's companies set up to do it, and these companies have been in business for years. There are certain comic stores which have become chain stores. And what keeps it going is the people who come in every week and every month to subscribe to the same thing over and over again. It's not like a huge market. It is bigger in America, but comic book fans are absolutely dedicated fans. They will turn up every week and every month. They'll get subscribed to stuff and get it posted out to them all the time. And they'll be trying to find that one comic book they remember from a kid, the first appearance of their favorite character, and they'll pay for it because comic books are collector's items. That's what keeps us going in the world of digital media, where everyone watches stuff on Netflix, Amazon Prime, or anything like that. Even comic books you can get digitally. But comic books are a thing you collect, not just something you read. The fun is to find those ones you've been looking for, and people will pay for those, and they'll subscribe so they don't miss the next chapter of the adventure. And that's what keeps us going week in, week out.
We've looked around here, and with comics from, like I said earlier, a couple of £, to you've won in locked case here for £300.
Yeah.
What's the most one sold for in the UK, and what was it?
I don't know about UK. I actually thought about this one to see if I could come with a better answer, but I genuinely can't, because the two most expensive ones I'm aware of are both just auction sales. So it could have been somebody in the UK buying it, could be somebody in America. But when we first opened, about a year after we opened, somebody sold a graded 9.8, one of the best quality comics ever, of Action Comics #1, first appearance of Superman, and that sold for $3.2 million. A few years after that, Amazing Fantasy 15, the first ever appearance of Peter Parker Spider-Man, sold for I think 3.3 or maybe a little bit more than that $1 million. Wow. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that real hard to find stuff we'll go for. We've got some things where if we had them graded, we've got some CGC ones in the cabinet. We've got some stuff which if we did get them graded, but that cost money, they'd probably get close to about £1,000, but that's the most we've got. Yeah. I mean, we're only one small store in a market town in Huddersfield, but yeah, we are getting there though.
Anybody starting in the comic book scene then? Let's say, myself, I was this big last time I probably read comics, but anybody young, old, etc., if they're wanting to get into the comic book scene, looking where to start, is there a comic that you say, this is good, it's a bit of everything, This is actually a question we get asked a lot in the store, and unfortunately it's one that is not easy to answer, because when you think about comic books, it's the same as thinking about movies.
You can't just be like, oh, I want to watch movies. What's a good movie? It's like, what kind of thing do you want from it? I really like Wild West movies and comic books, and some really good of those. If you like superheroes, that's like a big part of it. But then there is also horror and fantasy and murder mystery and sci-fi. So whatever kind of thing you're into, if you like reading a certain kind of book or watching a certain kind of movie, we can find you a comic book that's like that, because it is just that broader church. If you're into pretty much anything, we can find you it. There's romance comic books out there that are still going strong. There's time-traveling cowboys. Anything you want, we can find you a comic book, and there'll be something which will, if you're interested in comic books, it'll be something you'll enjoy, I'd like to think.
I've noticed you've got a range of board games here.
Yes.
Another random other games.
Yeah.
You got Jumanji.
We do indeed.
Have you been tempted to open it and roll the dice?
I honestly have, but
Could be interesting.
it could be. I'm a big fan of Jumanji. Like, for the very first one that came out, and then the more recent remakes, I do love it. But that is a quite expensive collector's item as well, because it's like a really good detailed replica of the board, and it's still playable, and it lights up, you make sound effects and all that, so it sets you back a fair bit of money. But yeah, it is tempting. It just looks really nice, and I would like to crack it open and have a play around with it. Yeah, 100%.
In your head, if you were to open it, I think in your head those drums would start.
Oh, I kind of wish that that box actually had that sound effect and you opened it. That would be brilliant.
We can have it.
Comic books are like available for everyone. The main market is more grown up these days, because that's the area of the populace that's got money to spend. If you're in your 20s and you've got a job, or if you're at university, you've got disposable income, you can come in every week and buy new comic books. For kids who've only got like a little bit of pocket money, it's a little bit harder, but that's why we do like the cheap stuff. We've got like a few hundred in boxes just for £1 each, so kids can come in and just grab something, and it doesn't really matter if they ruin it, 'cause it's only cost them £1, but then if they like it, they can come back and try something new. So we do try our best to make sure like anyone who comes in can find something that they want to read.
So for those that don't know, you've got an online shop, YouTube channel, Instagram, you do your weekly reviews on Random Comic. I've seen your videos there, they're lasting around 5 minutes average.
Oh, yeah. The entire point of that is to make them as bite-sized as possible, so you don't have to sit there for 20 minutes watching me waffle on about them. So, yeah.
And people that are on a break.
The idea originally was it would be perfect length to be waiting for a bus or just going out for a 5-minute break at work. So, yeah, you can just watch that and then carry on your day.
Yeah. On your Facebook page, you've got a free comic book day on May the 4th.
Yes.
What's all that about?
It's a big international thing. It's the first Saturday in May. The only time it's ever not happened was during the COVID lockdowns, because obviously people can come into shops then. But we've done it every year, and it is every single year we've done it. It has been the best day of the year we do. Like, better than any 2 other days combined, including the run up to Christmas. Because even though we give away comic books, we give away hundreds of them. Comic book companies all over the world produce these to be given away. They sell them to stores like very, very cheaply. They cost us pennies. Brothers are giving them away, but even though we pay for them and give them away for nothing, customers will turn up for it. They'll bring their kids. We give away extra freebies. We give like posters and little Warhammer figures and anything else we can do to get people come in, badges and stickers, anything like that. And then the vast majority of people who come in getting handfuls of things for free will then just spend some money here to say a bit of a thank you. And we will make like sometimes 3-4 times what we would do on any other given day. And it's nice to be able to give that to people like, yeah, here's some free things, have it. But then it's also nice to know that the people who come to do that understand that it does cost us money, and they show out their support for us. One of the best things about this business is building up that relationship with customers who come in every week or every month and getting to know people. There's a guy in my store right now who I never met until I opened up this shop, but he's now such a good friend. I was the groomsman at his wedding a year or so ago. And that's the kind of people who will come in and they'll take the free things, because obviously you will. They're free comic books, it's amazing. But then they will show their support to a local business in Huddersfield by making sure it's worth a while as doing it. And it's fantastic for us and it's fantastic for the customers. So yeah, we do it every year.
Yeah, it creates a lot of awareness then.
It really does. I mean, last time we did it before the lockdowns, we had queues coming out of our shop up the road, round the corner and round another corner. People desperate to get in and grab all the stuff, because sometimes big companies will launch like a big event in the free comic book day. Like Marvel will have their big summer event starting there, and sometimes they'll have a brand new character come into it, and that free comic book that we give away hundreds of ends up being worth money. So people will want to come and grab as much as they can, and yeah, it is brilliant for us. I say it's great for customers as well.
So, Paul, thank you for having us here today. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you and learn about your business and the comic book industry.
No worries.
Sorry. Before we leave, though, do you have a message to anybody watching this that, come see us?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously part of me's thinking, yes, come to my shop, it's brilliant. But also go and support your local teams, even if it's not the Giants. Go and support local rugby teams. It's a really, really good thing to be into. And there's one small thing of this cool, you can edit out if you want to. But if Anne and Claire are watching this, these are the two people who got me into rugby league when I was a younger lad. And they still go to all the matches with me, and they're two very, very good friends of mine. Thank you very much. I wouldn't be here doing this right now if it wasn't for those two people.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what we do, Kapow Comics, HGSA, follow us on our social media channels, give us a like. Please do share both his contents because it helps us massively.
Yep.
Small businesses, they need the shares, they need the attractions. HGSA do, Huddersfield Giants do. It's all for AMG for the sports side.
Yeah.
But for Paul, at the moment, it's creating awareness, getting new customers in, and getting people talking.
Yeah.
So if you like what we do, give us a share.
Tell all your friends about us.